Hey guys, how's it going? Will here, Will's Outlook. Back here with another video with today's update with the current market conditions. So I know a lot of people are scared after the little dip today. Again, it's all it is at the end of the day. It's just a little dip. Currently the support I'm looking for BTC, because we're just going to jump right in, is BTC to kind of find support where it's at. I don't anticipate them to allow BTC to kind of drop back from this position. I think they're going to continue to try and shake people out just like they did right in here. But I think, like, if we look at the current bottom here where BTC reversed, you'll be a little surprised when I show it to you. A lot of people are thinking this is a bear flag and we're running under the bear flag to the downside and we're gonna fall. If you look at RSI strength reads differently, right? Because we're not sitting at the top, we're sitting at the bottom. And we pretty much 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 touches on the same RSI, 6 touches on the same RSI. I would say that this area right here where we're sitting at is pretty strong for bounces, and you could see these bounces on this portion of the RSI. And I think that we stay here for a while because we need to stay here, right? If we start breaking below this, we start breaking strength, and then we start breaking strength, that's going to be really bad for the market. What I think is, I think we kind of bounce here and then maybe bounce again, and we kind of play sideways to a point that we kind of come back up. But I'll show you that in a second. So right here is 46, 45, 44, 43.9. Those are the numbers I'm looking for support. If BTC is the fallback, which is a possibility too, keep that in mind. Not necessarily saying it's going to go up for sure, but I think that these right here are kind of the key zones where we would find its support if it were to continue up. Now you're probably like, what is all this? Well, if you watch my previous videos, we're trending in here as I described in my last videos, and we were looking to come down to find support, right? Our support zone. We could stop here and go up, or we could have stopped down here and gone up. Either way, we were looking to go up. I think at the end of the day, if we look at it right here, I think the market maker could very well run this up into the 51k zone, possibly even, you know, to our ceiling of 52, 53, and then find rejection to the retrace, right? I think we find hard rejection if we end up doing that. So this is the potential of what could happen versus what is happening. So keep that in mind too. I bought the dip, I set up stop losses. I'm anticipating it to go up. If it goes back on me, that's okay, because I got in at the much lower position probably than most people. So me being able to set up a stop loss will save me if the market tends to come back on me, right? As far as that goes, I anticipate, like I said, for this thing to go up. If we look at this right here, though, I think the market maker is going to come in and surprise everybody, and they're going to actually run this thing up and then drop it down for the retraces here, right? So we're going to kind of fall back either to this position right here, 44, and I think we'll end up doing a cup and handle, aka big W, or we'll end up falling back deeper to do a bigger shakeout, right? Because you want to shake people out so that way they sell at a loss, and then they buy back in at a loss, and then they sell again at a loss. So shake them out right down here. They run this up. I think if they should do a shakeout down there, we could see a much bigger blow off than if we were to do a shakeout here, right? And then we do a blow off here, because I think that this is where we'll kind of end up with the current move. Whereas if they do a lower position, it'll take longer, but ultimately it'll allow us to come higher. I think that this 0.5 right here on the BTC rainbow, the center fib, ends up being pretty hard rejection for us. Could they break through? Sure. I don't think they find support there. I think ultimately, you know, that becomes kind of our market resistance for right now, running under the bear flag and all that good stuff, and, you know, which I've said I'll describe, which I need to do in one of these videos. So that's currently what I'm seeing with the current market condition. Again, we could see them potentially running this up, taking it higher, and then dropping it down to shake people out really hard, or we can see them kind of trending this down as they have been to this retrace position, and then running it up anyways, right? So either way it works out at the end of the day, but keep in mind this could be a shakeout, so it may not be the best time to sell yet, right? If you're selling, could be a good buy-in position too if you're confident enough in the market moving back up. Again, keep in mind they got us pretty low today, and we're already back up, you know, pushing 48k. I could see America waking up on this and being like, well, we're gonna dump some money into it, and this thing just pumping. So don't be surprised if you see that. Over here, if we look at this right here, I've had this for a while, guys. Twitter, I have previous videos with it. Accumulation, distribution, accumulation, distribution, and then we come over here, accumulation, distribution, and then accumulation. I think ultimately we're in a distribution phase, right? So we are in a phase where the market's not going to continue to trend up very heavily. We're going to kind of see a lot of FOMO pushing in, and the sellers are taking their profits right now. And so they're going to take their profits on you. And really, in reality, if you try, if you try and sell and stuff like that, ultimately they're going to run it back up higher to get you to buy more. And they're just going to keep doing this as a rinse and repeat until people just stop falling for it. At that point, we kind of see the market kind of trend down, and then we'll see a retrace in the market where we actually will come down. And those people that stopped falling for it will then get stuck on the floor. So, and this is the life of assets and life of crypto and everything else. It's all emotion and manipulation. So if we look here, I mean, it's following to a T. I'm expecting to find support continuously on this trend line as we eventually make our way to the bottom. But I think that ultimately we do have some more upside, obviously, to see before we end up seeing the bottom. Now, you're probably like, why is this guy always covering BTC? Because BTC kind of outlines the market very well. AK was running the market, but not so sure now because of the way the dominance is working. So we'll see how it works out. But I think ultimately if BTC falls to the floor, we will see that market pull back heavily, guys, like very heavily. So this is current market right here. And then if we come over here, sorry, wrong one. If we come over here and we look at our current move, you're probably like, what is all this? So on and so forth, right? Well, currently this was our trend. We obviously broke our trend. Does that mean anything? Not much. I mean, it kind of does, but not really. Really, this trend could have been wrong, and it could be this trend. So in reality, I have both these trends here, and then I have basically our top trend right here. And you're probably like, well, we got a ceiling. Yeah, we got a ceiling, but we also have a floor. So it just depends on which one's stronger. Ultimately, if BTC decides it wants to go up from here and shoves to the top of this pendant, because possible bullish pendant, we could see this thing kind of blow up, right? Like heavily blow up, and then take its leave for a retrace, and then okay, maybe not quite like that, but and then push down and then push up for another push, right? So this is what I would anticipate for the move. If that were to happen, that's what I would be looking for. Again, that's something I kind of outlined. Dominance again too, this is one of the other factors. Dominance dropped heavily here for BTC. Looks like BTC is finding support on dominance, which is big. So because if it's finding support, that's telling me that BTC wants to go back up. And we can see right here there was some pretty good support over here for BTC for dominance. So it looks like it's kind of grasping that again. So I think that we may see support here, and we may see a nice little bounce for BTC in support. This should be the bounce that would shove BTC up. And then I think ultimately we come back down to lower levels, right? And then, bounce up again. Now, I'm looking for BTC to kind of play this all the way down on dominance until it gets to a point to where its dominance is so low, it can no longer go down anymore, right? So BTC right now, if we look at it on the current RSI, where is it at? Remember, undervalued assets, something I talked about earlier. If an asset is below or at 30, it's undervalued. So as far as the RSI goes, we can see right there, that's definitely a trend reversal on the current strength index. This is telling me that that dominance is getting ready to turn around for BTC potentially, right? So I need to keep my eye on this. And again, I think we do come up, but I think we ultimately get rejected too. But we can come up pretty heavy, guys. We can come up and hit these top zones right here, catch rejection up here at the 45 before we end up falling back down. This is what I'm looking for BTC to do, and this would be BTC's spike, right? Before it falls in for the retrace, and then the retrace will bring it down, it'll bounce, and then that'll be the big boom for the next leg, and then the retrace will bring it down, and then boom, that'll be the retrace for the last leg, and then after that, we should see BTC start to make a huge move to the upside for dominance, and that will ultimately, I think, in the market, and I think they'll end up taking the money from the altcoins, placing some of it back in BTC. BTC will fall with the market, and that'll be just them getting their place back in the market, and then they'll take the rest of that money and place it in safer assets stocks or housing or whatever else they're into. As far as investments, that money won't typically stay in crypto. It's just too volatile for a lot of investors, so they do take profits into other assets to kind of secure profits in a sense. That's what I would be looking for the market. Again, if you look at this pattern too, we're looking at what? One big W. Easy enough, right? All right, well, that is pretty much all I had for this current meet and greet. I do, again, stop by my socials if you're able to, guys. Really appreciate it. Outside of that, thanks again for stopping by. Really, 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 really appreciate you guys. I think, I do try and bring a certain quality to the space. I try and argue my points with facts and math. I don't try and say emotions and feelings and how I hope things will go. I give scenarios that could play out either direction. So I do try to do that. I hope that everybody appreciates that. If you guys would like other content as far as me like maybe doing coin pricing, doing lives, feel free down below. Stop in the comments, comment, ask those questions. Alex plugged in down below. I'm a coach of Fundamental Seekers with Alex Lorenzo. His information is below, as well as his fundamentals group if you're interested in that. And we do give a lot of that information in there out way ahead of time before the public. All right, thanks guys, appreciate your time. Hope to see you again.
Even when it don't feel right, I still wanna party with her. Even when it don't feel right, I'ma party with her, with her, with her. She be calling on a Monday, wanna meet on Tuesday, asking me to fix me up real nice. She can wait until the weekend, she wants off the deep end, telling me to bring the stuff I like. I don't wanna let her down, so I'm telling her yes. Though I'm kinda down from the pain in my chest, but I'm putting her aside now. I'ma feel her right now, happy from the stuff I know she likes. I've been trying my luck every day of the week, yeah. With my baby, what's up? Ay, always down every week, yeah. Know I love her too much, but I just can't get enough. She's slipping through the cracks, call my bluff. She know what's up, can't get enough, yeah. Even when it don't feel right, I still wanna party with her. Even when it don't feel right, I'ma party with her, with her, with her. We be chillin' on through Wednesday, slept until it's Thursday. She don't wanna leave me, not just yet. Told me all about last Friday, when she went all crazy. Didn't go to bed till Saturday. I don't wanna go without, so I asked her to stay. Though she broke my heart in a million ways, but I'm putting that aside now. I'ma feel alright now, happy just as long as she's with me. I've been trying my luck every day of the week, yeah. With my baby, what's up? Always down every week, yeah. No, I love her too much, but I just can't get enough. She's slipping through the cracks, call my bluff. She know what's up, yeah. Can't get enough, yeah. Even when it don't feel right, hey, I still wanna party with her. Even when it don't feel right, yeah. I'ma party with her, with her, with her, yeah. Even when it don't feel right, I still wanna party with her, oh yeah. Even when it don't feel right, I'ma party with her, with her, with her. Even when it don't feel right, I'ma party with her, with her, with her, yeah, yeah.